today on Arise 360, within the world of art, we're going to get immersed in the world of Folasade, the art world Africa for Folasade. Now, it is a gallery that is committed to providing a global platform for African and contemporary artists to showcase their talents, right, and prowess in creative art design. As we've seen, art is a very, very valuable space. We've seen several people do great things within Nigeria and beyond. Most recently, the Nigerian artist behind the painting that sold, that is it, for $64 million. Yeah, called Three Yoruba Brothers. That was a whole thing entirely. But the point is, we do create great stuff. Now, for Folasade, they collaborate with other artists across the globe as well, apart from those within Nigeria, to just make an impact in the world of art, which is very important. And joining me now on the show from our Lagos studio, Folasade Abiola, the creative director for the Folasade Arts Carnival. It's great to have you on Arise 360. Thank you for joining me on the show. So first things first, I want us to kick things off by just talking about Folasade and its...
As I said, Folasade Arts World Africa is a global platform for promoting African art and artists. And how do we achieve this? We create different platforms. We create different initiatives to actually exhibit the African art and artists so that the world around could know them. So we are very particular about creating the art, in promoting the art and the artists behind the creatives. Because we see a lot of people buy artworks, some of them buy locally, but the creative behind is very important. And we feel that, and we've seen and observed we've observed that the industry needs a lot of promotion, because a lot of thousands of artists are graduating from schools and they don't have a platform to showcase their talent. And that's why Folasade came to be, to create opportunities and platform for these thousands of graduates that are coming out from schools to have platform to showcase their creative. And it's not just the graduates alone, the masters too. We focus on both the masters and the professionals and the ones that are coming. So we create a platform that is all encompassing and that accommodates all different levels of artists and promoting them. Thank you.
Of course, you're welcome. Now, what would you say? Would you say for artists, they have better chances of thriving being in Nigeria or outside Nigeria?
So our mission is for global visibility, but the most important thing is that there's need for local visibility. We've observed that the international stakeholders actually are attracted to African art, but the people at the local base think African art is they feel is a luxury, and most Nigerians do not even appreciate African art. And so we want African art to be appreciated locally. So when it's appreciated locally, that's when we'll be able to invest, to be able to do much more in the industry. As much as Folasade is investing into this, and we need a lot of support to be able to be where we are, because we have thousands of artists who, some of them have graduated from schools for the years. They don't have platform to actually showcase their talent. And if we appreciate African locally, then it will be easier for us to have more global visibility. We can mention the names of few artists in Africa that have the global visibility. And we have thousands of them who are doing very great, who are highly talented, that doesn't have visibility. And we need to give them visibility. We need to pay attention to them locally. The government needs to pay attention to them, and so that they can strive. So fine, we are meant for global visibility, but yes, we are starting locally. Every Nigerian should have an art piece, in their homes, in their offices. And that's why we are helping the industry. Because if we don't do this, the industry is going to go into its extinction. Because the industry, the visual art industry, is actually suffering hugely at the moment. So that's why we are starting locally, and we are creating the awareness.
Yeah, how do you juxtapose this with the situation that happened recently? When you say locals, we don't appreciate our own art. It takes me back to Olaoluslon, who put out the I mean, most recently at Sotheby's, he sold off his work for about 64 million naira. But we saw the criticism that came right after it. You know, this was a painting that was tagged 3 Yoruba brothers, and it showed basically 3 monkeys. And for a lot of people, it was like, this is the most demeaning way to portray Yoruba brothers. Like, what is this? People tagging it racist almost. So when you look at it from that perspective, then that wasn't appreciated, not because of its work, but because it just spoke negatively to our own audience. So how do you juxtapose that with what you've just said about us celebrating our own art? Because of course somebody bought that because they considered it luxurious modern art.
If you look at, let me talk about art itself. What is art? Art is actually a way to preserve our culture, to preserve our tradition, to preserve our way of life. Because art speaks to whom we are and our beliefs. So it's a way of preserving our culture. It's a way of archiving our tradition and culture and all that. And it speaks to whom we are. But if you look at the society currently, the Nigerian society, we are actually westernized in everything that we do. And we are actually prone to identifying with the Western. But most Nigerians and the African, we want to shy away from all those culture and whom we are. And so looking at the African art, if we actually we are committed to it, and we put a lot of investment into it, it is going to help us it's going to speak to preserve our culture and our tradition. And looking at the example that you cited, I think focusing on investing into African art is going to make African art to be sourced, because we at Fobali Arts World Africa, we preach and we advocate for African art sustainability. Thank you.
Speaking on African art sustainability, I know there's a competition. You know, there was a winner for, it's an art competition that Fobali puts together. You know, I'd like us to talk about that as well, especially because somebody won. What was that like?
Okay. Yeah, so as I said initially, that we have a lot of initiative and programs that we put together. So we've had a national undergraduate art competition a couple of times, and the one we recently had late last year, we had people who emerged as winners across the nation, and one from, the winner came, so it's national undergraduate art competition. And we had a Lagos State secondary school art competition too. And why did we go into this? Because we know that if we are talking about the future of art, and we are not starting from the basis, we are not starting from the grassroots, we won't be able to get to the future, because the future is from, if we are talking about the future, we need to pay attention to the foundation. And that's why, and we saw a lot of parents were encouraged when we had the Lagos State Secondary School art competition, because most parents always discourage their children to go into art, and because they don't see the future in it. But when they saw an organization who is devoting its attention and energy to encourage these young creatives to do what they are doing, to continue to do what they are doing, they were motivated. And even the one in the secondary school. And we had different schools, I think 3 different schools that emerged as winner for the national undergraduate. And so investing and paying attention to the foundation is very key. And so, at Fobali Arts World Africa, we promote both the young ones, the graduates, the professionals. We start from the students, the professionals, and even the masters. So we have a lineup of programs that we are going to have, that we have from time to time, that we are still going to execute this year in promoting all these levels and levels of artists within our space.
Well, Folasade Abiola.
So it's a yearly event, the national.
Yeah, you've spoken extensively about this, and congratulations to the winners as well. Folasade, thank you so much for joining me on Arise 360. This was definitely an insightful conversation.